since your club, yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head. Because even right now, what's trending is not us playing. It's not stuff that's happening on the field that's trending for Man United. It's stuff that's off the field. Right now, Sancho, I can see even on Twitter right now that he's up there again. Like this entire day, it's been Sancho this, Sancho that. Ngokuthi manje simxoshile canteen, ukazimela as nescaptain manje. You know, it's so childish. I think it's so childish to what we're doing to Sancho. Like, yes, he's had a fallout with the manager, and we all know where it stems from. And I mean, you know, there's a way in which you conduct yourself as a manager as well. As much as we say to Sancho, it's not right of him to, you know, stand his ground. But at the same time, you're a man, dog. More than anything, man, as Mchita, you know, as a grown man, if someone is gonna assassinate your character, you know, and you know very well that your reputation amongst the fan base is not so great, you're seen as a villain. You know, from the moment we signed with Sancho, he's always been seen as a villain. Yeah, well, it's that.
And I make this example. Sometimes you can learn a lot from coaches. There's something that Pep said about Nunes a few weeks back. That
by the first touch.
Yeah, United fans were taking as, why when Pep says it and whatever. I'm like, but Pep is not talking, well, to myself, I was like, Pep is not talking about the player's work ethic. Pep is talking about the player's technical ability. That's easy to develop. He's not saying he's not working. He's saying that there are areas of his game. His game. So he is giving himself a task as a coach to say, there are areas of his game that I need to work with him to get him to the player that he can be. Tuchel said this last week about Mazraoui. They were asking why Mazraoui is sitting on the bench. And he said, if you've seen Konrad Laimer and how he's playing, Mazraoui needs to fight for his position. That's why he's on the bench. It's nothing else. It's not special or whatever. He has to fight. And he has to continue to fight. And it's not that it's not happening. What happens in big clubs is that you have great quality players that are all fighting for the same positions. So often others will be selected above others. That's just how it happens. But the players that are next in line are always fighting for that. And I encourage that. He needs to fight to earn that place above Laimer. At the present moment, Laimer is ahead of him, but Laimer can easily fall to the back because of the quality that Mazraoui has. So he's not saying, I've lost all hope for that player, or that player is not training well or whatever. He's saying work still needs to be done to get the player to where they need to be. And that's what coaches are supposed to do when they are asked about players that are not playing. Not this thing of saying, he didn't, you're not a principal. Not this thing of saying, no, he didn't train well. That's nonsense. You don't say that. Even if he didn't train well, you don't tell the media that your player's not training well. You can say that we felt as though for this week and the work that we've done this week, we were not entirely prepared around playing with Sancho. We would want to keep him and play him at a later stage. At the present moment, the squad that we have right now, we are fine with playing who we have. You want to be as diplomatic as possible.
Yeah.
Not be an asshole just because you want to prove that you are the boss or whatever. And he's gonna lose the rest of the dressing room, because it's not like Sancho doesn't have friends.
Exactly.
That train with him, that know his work ethic, and they have to go on Sundays not playing him or watch him miss out on training to train with the under-21s and not understand why or how that's happened. And remember, it's still fresh in these players that it happened to Cristiano as well. Like
the problem is that as a player, man, so because it's so easy to have a bad day. So easy to have an off day. It's so easy for the success to go a coach or where now that doesn't train well, or you don't eat well, or you overweight, or doesn't. It's such a small fine line. There's someone else in the team also, and once players start to feel like that, this guy needs to go. And if it means we will stop playing for him, We'll do it. And this weekend's game was an clear example of that. That was
Yeah, they
Yeah,
were firing the
terrible for
coach.
Man United.
They were firing the coach there.
Yeah.
They
yeah,
were really
Especially
firing.
when if Burnley won that game, I think Erik ten Hag was in trouble after that game.
yeah.
They
I know you
bought him
guys.
a few more weeks.
Yeah,
I know you men have said a mouthful. You guys have, I feel like you guys. I echo your sentiment completely there because really, and as well, what has Ten Hag achieved that he can,
Dog.
act
he
that,
got the United a job. That's an achievement.
no, but still, I mean, I understand. You see, like with Pep, if Pep would do something like this, I'd understand. But Pep has a treble, two trebles for crying out loud. Tuchel has Champions League. He's achieved. These guys have achieved like big trophies. Ten Hag hasn't yet reached that standard, and that's another thing I feel like maybe Sancho on his end is like, who are you, fam, to to act as if what you are doing right now is yielding anything of substance. Yeah, well, and I mean, I'm not, I'm personally valid. I'm not all for player power, but at the same time, I'm also putting myself in Sancho's shoes and to like treatment as well. Let's respect each other. Slowly pan at the end of the day. And let
Yazi ngibukele in a funny that you bring it
yeah,
up. Ngibukele is sitting with Prostan.
yeah,
So he brought the Pirates captains or four previous Pirates captains on the show.
Benzema.
As
yeah,
friend, Benzini,
it's yeah,
Mamayela Bigada. So
hey,
so uthi Prostan, oh le ntwana lezi manje lezi ama-prima donna. Yes. Athi the new players manje are like white chickens. Athi inkukhu ezimhlophe. Athi le wayibheka kabi nje seyikwatile seyimudle the rest of the season. Athi kudala bekukhulunywa noma kanjani ku-change room. Impela yakungena entshela ukuthi endlala amasimba baba ngazongitshela nini. Kukhulunywa
yeah.
kanjalo and that's how they motivate. Manje umuntu kumele aye ku-counselling makukhuluma naye kanjalo. And that's exactly izinto ezenza boSancho. These young guys uSancho uyambona ukuthi mawungamudla ku-FIFA. Yes, singakukhulumisa the whole day.
Yes, he's very
Yeah,
petulant.
Ngiyakukhulumisa the whole
yeah,
day.
He's very petulant. There's a famous clip of him being subbed for Foden when they were still in the academy, and he basically throws his toys out because he's getting subbed. But I always think about that. Ukuthi, top players don't like being removed from games. This is true for any top player. And I think his ego has always been that of a top player. But
yeah,
Upep washo phela. Upep
he
washo.
he perhaps felt Ukuthi he has arrived way too early. You see,
No, Upep
Jude
washo mfana.
Jude has the same ego. Jude has the ego of a top player. But Jude also understands that he needs to put in the work every single time he gets on the pitch.
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
you you see with his work rate, Tuguti, even when he plays bad, like even last week, that game, he wasn't really having a great game.
yeah.
But he's so bought into the idea, Yoguti, Noma kwenzakalani, I'm going to find a way. That British dog,
yeah.
attitude of
Survive.
his. It works for him because of the position he plays. You know, Even though I still believe that Real Madrid needs something more creative in their midfield. Their midfield is too many of the same things. But that's us Kuluming at Real
Yeah,
Madrid right now. Uh,
yeah,
but I think that's Sancho's biggest downfall. And coaches that are like Ten Hag, that want to be the egos in the room, will be much comfortable with players like Rashford, who don't show ego, even though they play with an ego. Because when Rashford
yeah.
plays, you can tell
Hey,
he feels that he's too good to press. He's too good to
mhm,
work off the ball. Yeah, you can see in the way that he plays. And that's why he feels so emboldened, Uti. I don't have to pass. I back myself so much, Uti. I'm a lethal striker that I pass for who? I'm going to find my way to goal. I'm going to beat these three guys and I'm going to score. Plus, he knows that he doesn't have to worry about being subbed or worry about being dropped as long as he doesn't come late to team meetings or
hey,
training. Ten Hag is going to
yeah,
keep starting him. So those are some of the problems that his favorites, will always start. Ganacho
mm,
had two bad games. didn't start another game
Bench.
after. You know, Pelestri played, doesn't play. You never know what's going on with that team. You know, Anthony's going to come back. Anthony's going to play every single game. He can have as many bad games as he wants. Sancho will never have a good game or whatever for that team, because that's just the idea that
Yeah.
yes, that's the idea that team is operated around. So it's very unfortunate. But
I know
yeah,
it is.
enough about
I
that
know.
team.
Yeah, I know. Laugh about that team. You know, in the last 10 minutes, let's talk about your team. Okay, I mean, you know, the theme of the show is blue. So yeah, let's keep on team.